All right, guys, out here in my garage, and I'm looking to build a new garage, a detached, larger garage. But before I do that, I've made a commitment that I'm going to maximize my small and so my house was originally built, I think, in like 1948. You know, it's like sort of a typical, originally sort of a Cape Cod style probably, but now it's more of a ranch. You know, post World War II, Route 6, you know, was put in a newer road in the area, and you know, it has what was a two-car garage at that time, and it just is not very large, but it's more garage than a lot of people have. And when I moved here, I moved from a house that had a 28 by 28, which still wasn't a huge garage, but it was bigger than this. And so I have a lot of tools and you know, equipment and stuff like that that just doesn't fit in here. So the need is real for a bigger garage, but I've made the commitment. I'm going to try to maximize this space. And so here behind me, I began to tear it. Well, so first of all, over here, this is like the pile of stuff that was along this wall behind me, which like basically from here over to this corner, that was there. And then there was some built-in shelves, which I'm in the process of tearing down. But my house originally was put in. It had the old, you know, two-wire sort of electrical system, and most of it's been updated. And the box is right over here, and it's only a 100-amp box, and you can see it's had stuff added into it, and people didn't do a very good job at it. But one thing they didn't do is they left this ungrounded two-wire system. So part of the reason I tore out all this stuff is I'm going to put a new bench over here, and I'm also going to put a French cleat system here on the wall. And as I prepare to do that, I'm going to upgrade this electric in here. And I don't have too far to go, so I'll basically be pulling this off the wall. Pull the cover off, and I'm pretty sure that this is where that old two-wire system is in place. So, little shop. I'm going to try to turn it into productive. So, little garage, big work. Because right now, I have stuff out here and, you know, just moved and stacked as I work in this corner over here. So, yeah, let's get to it. I'm doing video of us tearing down the wall.
Okay. I hate these shorts.
All right, first the demo, and hopefully the improvement. But we're in demo phase right now. We're just finishing up some demolition. As you can see in the background, we got a bunch of stuff down on the ground, and always feel good about demolition because it goes sort of quickly. But we got this out, pulled all the nails. It didn't go as quickly as I had hoped because I had to pull out the drywall and trying to leave up the insulation and all that stuff. So anyways, hopefully we'll get to this pretty soon, to the actual building portion, and show you what we're doing there. I want to talk a minute about over here. Talk about our lumber. That's Ethan.
What's up?
Today we went and bought lumber, and we had a not so great experience at Home Depot, right? So
Terrible customer service.
Terrible customer service. So we went to Home Depot, and we were going to buy some 2x3s. And the reason that we're going to buy some 2x3s, and you can see them there, there's like 16 2x3s, is because the ledge that this wall sits on here, and back to the studs is just about 3 inches or so wide. So we're going to be able to set it on that ledge and sort of build a subwall. So when we got to Home Depot, they had, maybe 30 or so 2x3 by 8s sitting in the bin there, and not one of them were straight. Every one of them very crooked. I mean, I'm not talking about just a little bit crooked either, right, Ethan? I mean, what was it like?
Very bowed.
How were they? So they were really bad, but they had a whole bunk of 2x3s up above. So I asked them, I said, hey, can you bring those down? I'm looking for 16 and these just aren't straight. And so I stood there for about 10 minutes because they had to go ask Rob. I don't think Rob ever came, so they felt guilty. And then someone else came and said, well, what do you need? I said, still need 16 2x3 by 8s. And none of these are straight. And it's not like I was looking for perfect. I mean, they're 2x3s, which, by the way, though, I mean, still $4.75 at Home Depot for 2x3s. That is crazy. And so 16 of them. I want them somewhat straight. And if you look what I have here, those are good-looking 2x3 by 8s. I mean, they're not bad. And it's not a bad expectation, I think, for if you're going to spend $5 each. So, the guy starts picking through them. He goes to give me one, and it's got this, it's got a huge bow in it. He says, well, what are you using it for? I said, well, I'm going to frame up a subwall. Well, I think you should be able to use this. I said, would you build with that? He says, yeah. And then I just knew that he had never built anything in his life, apparently. So I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. And then I had, $150 worth of electric, like a wire and some gang boxes and switches and outlets and that. And I said, hey, can you guys put that away for me? He said, yeah, okay. And so I just ended up leaving. We went down to Lowe's. And Lowe's was a little bit more expensive, but the lumber was good. And this is crazy, though. I bought maple plywood, which is, if you know, this is typically cabinet grade stuff, but it was cheaper than the BC sanded plywood that I was looking to buy. And this was $55 a sheet, and the 3/4 inch sanded BC was $61 a sheet or something like that. So we ended up buying this, which is a nicer plywood, and since it's inside and not going to be wet or anything, it's going to be, I think it'll be a nice setup for our wall over there. And then we have some OSB and a piece of Luan. The Luan is typically what people call underlayment, but you might not know this about me. I used to work at 84 Lumber back in the day, so picked up lumber, and it was crazy. This little bit of a lumber here was like $600. Hardly anything there. $600. So we're gonna get busy building our frame. Don't know whether we'll finish it out today or not, but we've got a couple days here that we can work on it. So yay, go us. Beautiful maple hardwood plywood.
I think this is the nicest plywood we've ever used.
Absolutely. You got it? It's like gymnastics. Hey, welcome back. I don't even know if I should say welcome back. It's the next day for me. On the video, it won't be though. But anyways, we're back in the garage and we're working on our project here. So I just wanted to show you sort of what the next plan was. So you see we have 2 windows in the garage, and you'll see that I stripped that wall and got rid of the drywall back to here. And then we have another window over here. So the plan is this is all going to be a French cleat, and I'm actually going to cover this window up. Now, I'm not going to remove the window, re-side over the outside, because frankly, it's probably something that it just, with the investment of doing it out there, is probably not worth it. And plus, if anyone ever buys this house from me, they may want to have that window back in here. With the advent of nice, shiny LED lights and sort of the modern day that we live in, the one window should be enough for me. And plus, this will give me a nice place to work and put up the French cleats. And yesterday we took a trip to the store, bought a bunch of different lumber, and we're going to get into this, and hopefully it'll be something that it'll encourage you, because that's what my goal is. Right, so man can never have too many tape measures. I mean, you probably can, but I've got this, just purchased this Cobalt. First time I've had a Cobalt tape measure. Very bright. I hope it makes it easier for my old eyes to read. And it's magnetic, so if you're using it on metal studs. So, let's give it a try. We have 29 by 3/4. 29 by 3/4. 44. And 44. So the goal here is I'm going to cut a piece of Luan, which some people call underlayment, and you've probably seen it, a fairly smooth grain piece of wood. 4x8 sheet is how you typically buy them. I'm going to I got a piece. I'm going to cut a piece of Luan. I'm going to paint it black, and then I'm going to mount it up here onto this frame. And the reason I'm doing this is because I really just don't want to take the whole window out and redo the siding, and who knows, next person who buys it, what they might want to do. So from the outside, you should just, when you look in, it should just look black. You'll be able to see through that window, and this wall is going to be all a French cleat system. So let's get to it. Okay, so took a day off of my normal job, just putzing around out here in the garage. You remember, we got to get this, which we just painted. We're going to let it dry. We're going to get it hung, cover this window, build a subwall. We're putting a French cleat system here, a new bench set up, and hopefully eliminating sort of a lot of the mess that we have out here. So one of the things that I bought at Harbor Freight yesterday when I was out, day before, maybe 2 days ago, I bought a air nailer and stapler, and I don't, I don't use it every day, so I went with Harbor Freight. We're going to see how this is. I'm not going to cut any sort of corners on it or anything like that. I'm not going to tell you anything about it that's not true. So this is $104 or $110, and supposedly it'll do finishing nails 1 1/4 inch to 2.5 inches, brad nails 5/8 to 2 inches, and then narrow crown staples 5/8 to 1.5 inches. So sort of a multi-use little brad nailer, and does 16 and 18 gauge, so we're going to see what it does. First time owning a brad nailer like this, so we'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. Alright, so this is what this thing looks like. And when we open it, some work instructions there. We got our couple of Allen head and the air chuck, the air bit. And what the tool looks like itself. Looks like we need to put a little oil in it. Oil daily, or warranty is void. So we'll see how this little sucker works. Alright, so we'll get a picture of what that looks like from the outside. Now we're going to build our subwall. Alright, first section of subwall is going in. We don't have to over anchor because all it's going to do is hold up our French cleats. So you see we scabbed two pieces together here. And then we'll put another subwall right here up. And then we'll begin to put our plywood up for this. Alright, we are back. We've got this subwall in and this little 2-foot wall over here in. We're going to be running some electrical boxes. This had the old 2-wire style wiring without the ground in it. And not only is it dangerous, but it's just old. So we disconnected it in the box. We're just going to leave this in the wall. There's nothing. It's not going to hurt anything because we're going to cover it. We're going to put in a couple of these new boxes and add more electrical capacity. And we'll probably at this end down here throw in a switch and a plug for the compressor. This is just a little 110 compressor that I have, a Husky. I'll show you that here in a few minutes. But basically here in the garage you'll see down here how many course of block we have, and the garage is sloped, the floor is sloped out for drainage, and so you'll see we're just under the first course is all above, and then the second course down there just and I'm counting it backwards because this is the final course, but just for the sake of showing you what's going on here, you'll see as we go down there that we drop in about 10 foot, we drop probably about an inch. So we went through and we marked our height here, and there's going to be OSB on the bottom half of this, which is going to be hidden behind the bench. And then up above is where we'll put our hardwood plywood with the cleats on it and the cleat system. So we'll probably have to still have some more demolition to do, because I think I'm underneath that window. I'm going to tear out the drywall underneath that window and then put another subwall in there that just sort of goes across that small section, because we're going to have some more bench that goes that way. So that's where we're at. Alright, so here's what we have so far. We've got 3 electrical boxes sort of roughed in, and I'll finish those. I'll finish wiring those here shortly. Added the other section here, subwall. It's about 42 inches of extra bench that we'll have down there, and we'll also have the power switch, and then a plug for the air compressor. And you can see sort of what this looks like to this point.